we're trying to present to this body the facts around what occurred on June 22nd and subsequently in regards to the Constitution of the United States here in Loudoun County. And many folks, unfortunately, came to a belief that somehow it was just fine for the chief law enforcement officer of our county to arrest individuals at a public meeting in a public place under recess for exercising their First Amendment rights. So let's go there. But let me actually change this a little bit, because I don't think you're actually voting on me today. I would suggest to you that you're voting on yourselves in the direction of this party. Why do I say that? Well, in last February, instead of even allowing the discussion of this topic, folks, and you know who they are, worked through Robert's Rules of Orders and previous initiatives to ensure that this would be silenced. No difference than the party that has a reputation for censorship. This party shut down the discussion of one of the most foundational principles that this party is supposed to stand on, the Constitution. I'll ask for a raising hands. Is there anybody in this room that would say that the governance of this country is not foundationally and first built upon the Constitution of the United States? Anyone want to raise? You saying that it
is?
It is, absolutely. Anyone disagree with that? I don't think so. I don't think you can. And yet this body would not hold the chief law enforcement officer who had put in writing that he would arrest me again. And this is after not one, but two judges, one conservative in Plowman and one radical in Fleming, both said it's an open meeting, it should never have been closed down, and two, you have a constitutional right to speak in an open public meeting. So I exercise my conscience, because this party would not try to reform a candidate who only had to say, you know what, we made a mistake, shouldn't have done that, we're never going to do that again, we're going to teach people proper constitutional knowledge so they won't do something like that ever again. But instead, they double down. So today, I'm asking you to take a moment and ask yourself whether or not you again are going to put power at all costs over the principle of the Constitution of the United States of America. Because there's a reason 250 years ago, our founding fathers said, well, we're going to stand up to tyrants. We are not going to take tyranny anymore. And we are willing to die, to sacrifice our very lives to fight for that. And when they finished fighting that war, proud, wise men here from Virginia said, we will not sign that Constitution until we put in writing that men will always have the right to assemble and speak and redress grievances. And that was violated. The worst case, the First Amendment abuse in the entire country by a sheriff's department following the lead of a corrupt and immoral school board, taking orders from them and driving out. And I see in this room several people in particular who stood with me arguing, stating, do not do this. And they did it anyways. And then they doubled down on it. And this body had a meeting the following week and justified those actions. And that's the narrative that continues to this day. It's wrong, it's legally wrong, it's immoral. And if you're going to be a party of the Constitution of the United States, supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States, then you will hold your candidates accountable for that. And that's what I tried to do. And I was driven out of here. It was one of the most embarrassing situations I've ever seen. Not for me, but for the people in this room. It was disgusting. The backbiting, the maneuvering, the Robert's Rule of Orders crap. I'm not standing for that. I haven't been here since. And I did. I supported a humble Christian man who the first thing he said to me when I met with him is, I'm here to support the Constitution of the United States and unbiasedly enforce the law. Done. Because I had another candidate who put in writing, put out a press release saying that he would do the opposite. Yep. So, convict me for this minor offense of exercising my conscience and First Amendment right. You want to convict me for that? Not only drive me out of here as a man of principle, but drive every other person of principle far away. And if you happen to notice in this last election, 2% this, whatever else, folks, there was 300,000 more people that voted in the last election. 300,000. Were they voting? I ask you, were they voting for some newbie politician running around in a red vest with a milquetoast policy, or were they voting against tyranny? You know the answer. You saw it lived out. You saw that globalist billionaire run around trying to use every bit of his capital, trying to get people to vote, and it got nothing. Nothing. And I'm here to tell you, the people of principle stayed home because they did not trust that man anymore. He had gone back and forward, transgender bathrooms, maybe not, maybe forwards, this thing, that thing. Nobody trusted. What was his moral position? 15-week infanticide. 15-week infanticide. Is that something you're for? Because that's what he was getting every one of his candidates. And he destroyed every freedom fighter in the state of Virginia, including Dave LaRock, Amanda Chase, Matt Strickland. He put up people against them. Folks, this party and this party in this county has to make a decision whether you're going to continue down that path with that type of leadership and some of the connivers in this room, or whether you're going to place a vote today to change, to go to a new direction as a county, as a people, and that is not a moral and religiously driven set of principles based on the Constitution of the United States, then you're in violation of what our founding fathers said. That said those two things are essential, as did John Adams. You cannot have a country without them. So are you going to be principled today? Or are you going to go at power at all costs? That's the vote.
All right, in order to have discussion on this motion, we open the floor by motion to remove. So if there's a first to motion,